What if I told you, the most chaotic economic battle of the 21st century wasn't triggered by a general, a virus, or even a crash, but by a real estate mogul, a red hat, and a single word, tariffs.
Sit down. Sit down. We'll get it.
On paper, it sounded simple. Tax foreign imports. Bring back American jobs. Make America great again. But what followed? Factory shutdowns, skyrocketing prices, and a global economy teetering on the edge. This is the untold story of Donald J. Trump, how one man's war on trade reshaped the world. Before the gold towers and scandals, before the campaign rallies and chaos tweets,
You're fired. Get out of here.
there was just Donald, born in Queens in 1946 to Fred Trump, a sharp, disciplined builder who made his fortune in rent-controlled Brooklyn. But Donald didn't want to build homes for working families. He wanted skyscrapers, spotlights, headlines, power. As a boy, he was aggressive, defiant, so unruly that his parents shipped him off to military school at 13, hoping to break his wild spirit. It didn't work. After college, he joined his father's company, but quickly set his sights on Manhattan. Everyone told him he'd fail. But in 1983, Trump Tower opened its doors on Fifth Avenue. Polished marble, gold elevators, paparazzi on call. Donald wasn't just a businessman anymore. He was becoming a symbol, and for Trump, the bigger the symbol, the better. But by the 1990s, the empire was crumbling. Over-leveraged deals, failing casinos, he owed billions. Multiple bankruptcies followed. Tabloids mocked him. He became a punchline in late-night monologues. Yet somehow, Trump survived, not by building, but by branding. He sold his name to everything. Buildings he didn't own, steaks, ties, water. In 2004, NBC gave him the ultimate gift, The Apprentice. "You're fired" echoed across America's living rooms.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. I'm sorry. You're fired. Get out of here.
To millions, he looked like a titan again. The failed mogul became a TV boss, and with that fame came something unexpected: political ambition. In 2011, he floated the idea of running for president. People laughed. Trump didn't. June 16, 2015, Donald Trump descended a golden escalator in Trump Tower, Melania by his side, cameras flashing. "I am officially running for president," he said. The world rolled its eyes. Late-night hosts cracked jokes.
Can I mess your hair up?
But then he said something different, something blunt, something raw. He spoke about illegal immigration, about trade with China, about Americans getting screwed. He didn't sound like a politician. He sounded like someone furious. To some it was offensive. To others, it was refreshing. And just like that, the Trump train began to move. Insults became weapons. Debates turned into TV ratings gold. And what began as a joke was now a fire sweeping across America. Election night 2016. The experts, confident, the media, certain. Hillary Clinton would win in a landslide. But something strange started to happen. Florida turned red. Then Ohio. Then Pennsylvania. Working-class counties, places forgotten by both parties, voted Trump. By 3 a.m., Donald Trump stood on stage, not as a celebrity or a disruptor, but as the 45th President of the United States. It was a political earthquake. He had no military experience, no public service, and yet, he beat the system. But the moment wasn't healing, it was dividing. A storm was coming. Trump didn't ease into the presidency, he smashed into it.
As me, it's your favorite president.
His first speech described American carnage. Then came executive orders, a Muslim ban, border wall funding, tear gas at protests, cable news ratings exploded, Twitter turned into a war zone. To his base he was a hero, to his critics a danger to democracy. But beneath the headlines, he was planning something massive, something economic, a different kind of war, one not fought with tanks or troops, but with tariffs. In 2018, Trump made his move. He slapped massive tariffs on China steel, aluminum, tech. It was his economic doctrine in action, America first. But instead, China struck back, hard. They targeted soybeans, pork, corn, the lifelines of rural America. Farmers lost markets overnight. Trump funneled billions in bailout aid. Then he raised tariffs even higher. The Dow plunged. Companies panicked. Trump called it necessary pain. But to many Americans, it felt like economic whiplash. Then came COVID. Trump dismissed it at first.
One of the reasons we did so well
One day, it'll disappear.
before the plague, and we're doing so well after the plague. It's going away.
It didn't. Hospitals overflowed, ventilators ran short, millions lost their jobs.
You know, it came out of the Wuhan lab. I call it the China virus because I like to be accurate, you know?
Mocked masks, promoted unproven cures. In the middle of the chaos, he caught the virus himself.
I think this was a blessing from God that I caught it.
And still kept tweeting. The economy spiraled, cities locked down, America's death toll climbed. But even then, Trump refused to admit defeat. The presidency was unraveling.
I caught it. I heard about this drug. Let me take it. And it was incredible the way it worked.
November 2020. Joe Biden won the popular vote and the Electoral College. But Trump refused to concede. He pushed claims of voter fraud, lawsuits, recounts, rallies. Then came January 6th. A mob of Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, chanting his name. Windows shattered, officers injured. It was the first breach of the Capitol since 1814. Trump was impeached. Again. This time, for inciting insurrection. Twitter banned him. Facebook shut him out. The world watched in disbelief, but Trump wasn't finished yet. He vanished from Twitter, but not from politics. Trump launched Truth Social, held rallies, endorsed candidates, and in 2024, he made his comeback, facing criminal charges, multiple indictments, even federal investigations. Still, he won the Republican nomination, and once again, against all odds, he won the presidency. But this time, he wasn't coming to disrupt. He was coming to settle scores. Trump's second term began with the same fire and fury that defined his first.
#1 trending.
His second-term agenda was clear: double down on the tariffs.
$50 million to buy condoms.
Trump raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 25%, hitting billions in imports, from electronics to industrial machinery.
因为贸易战没有赢家。
China didn't take this lightly. They retaliated with their own tariffs, yet Trump wasn't backing down. His message remained clear. America was no longer going to be the world's economic punching bag, but China wasn't alone in feeling the heat. Trump's second term wasn't just about reasserting dominance over China, it was about taking on the whole world.
I actually had a great relationship with President Xi. He probably liked me the most, but maybe and maybe not.
The backlash from Trump's renewed tariffs came quickly, and it wasn't just China firing back. Europe became another battlefield. The EU hit back with tariffs of its own. The tit-for-tat escalated. But Trump wasn't concerned with how his policies were affecting global trade.
I love Tesla.
He was laser-focused on bringing jobs back to America. Make America great again. And if that meant hurting other countries to do so, so be it.
They've ripped us off left and right.
In response to the rising tension with the US, China and Russia forged a stronger economic alliance. A massive trade pact was formed between the two countries, bypassing the US entirely. The United States, once the dominant economic force in the world, was now watching as new alliances were being formed, often in direct defiance of Trump's policies.
Now it's our turn to do the ripping.
Global supply chains that had once flowed smoothly through American ports now began to shift. Countries found alternative trading partners, bypassing the US altogether. In an ironic twist, Trump's America First strategy had inadvertently set off a chain of events that weakened U.S. economic influence. The tariffs that Trump had hoped would make America great again were instead revealing a new world order, one in which the U.S. was no longer the undisputed economic powerhouse.
How was the golf tournament?
Very good, because I won. It's good to win.
As businesses across the globe scrambled to adapt to new trade barriers, the world watched in disbelief. The global economic system that had been decades in the making was being torn apart piece by piece, under the weight of tariffs and trade wars. America was fighting with its closest allies and its fiercest competitors, and no one knew exactly where the war would end. So what do we make of him? Donald Trump, real estate tycoon, reality show king, president, twice. To some, a patriot who dared to fight for forgotten Americans. To others, a reckless egomaniac who destabilized the world. But one truth remains, he changed everything. He didn't start wars with tanks or planes, he used tariffs. He weaponized economics, shattered old alliances, and redefined what it meant to be president. Love him or loathe him, the world is still living in his shadow.
For $5 billion, this could be yours.
Yet even as we debate his legacy, here's the irony. While Trump fought to close borders and punish imports, TikTok, the app he tried to ban, became the most downloaded in America. He called it a threat, tried to shut it down, warned it was spyware from China, But millions of Americans, especially the young, ignored him. They danced, they laughed, they built careers, movements, and massive followings, all on the app he tried to erase. In trying to stop it, he only gave it more power, more attention, more fuel. Because Trump was fighting a war with tariffs and tweets, while Gen Z was building a digital revolution. No walls, no borders, just 15-second videos that traveled the globe in seconds. And that's the twist. In trying to make America great again, he may have accidentally helped launch the very platform that defines the next generation of American influence. A Chinese app, on American phones, telling a new story, one Trump never saw coming.